Player sentiment has not changed toward Hasbro and Wizards of the Coast. The company was probably hoping that the Brothers War would boost their overall sales for the end of the year. But I think players out there have had enough. They're showing it with their choices, and they're going to slap Wizards where it counts. Hello everyone and welcome back. MTG Moxman here, and thank you again for being here on my channel today. As we get ready to be here for the end of the year, the Q4 results, the quarterly results for the end of the year, for how Hasbro and Wizards of the Coast have done is right around the corner. And this is that time where players are really asking the question, did I make a difference? Will my voice be heard? Will my money be speaking for itself, telling you that I'm not buying your products, I don't like the choices you've made, and you need to fix things? A lot of players are starting to ask that question. A lot of players, though, don't know because they're a single voice. But I can tell you from the emails, the private conversations, the LGSs, your voices will be heard. I think this will be a resounding, loud gong bell right in the face of Hasbro and Wizards of the Coast. Yes, the M30 booster pack sales may boost up. I really hope they fail. I really hope they do. But even if that gets you good sales, the sheer volume of products sitting on shelves tells me that it's unavoidable your voices will be heard, because the slashing of future sets, when stores aren't ordering what they used to order, when they're hacking orders in half or more, that's going to the distributor, which is finding its way back. They're putting surveys out now. Well, tell us what you think. They're doing this stuff because it's a little misdirection, a little redirection, a little look over here, but don't look over here. They're trying that, but they know that a lot of us are looking past that at this point, and that's what they have to phase up to. The fact that the sealed market is plummeting down to nothing, they've got nothing backstopping the current value of their cards. They just, these sets are already in process, right? So it's a lot of reprinting of cards. Although I gotta say, Jumpstart 2022 does look pretty good. I like some of the cards I've seen in that set, and it's not a bad price. But until I get an apology or some kind of statement, I'm still not buying anything. I'll stick to singles. And a lot of the players out there right now are going with singles on the market. You can see it. The sales volume for the Brothers War, for Dominaria, United, Kamigawa, New Capenna, a lot of these things are down. And even in the Hot 10 this week, the video we'll watch right now, the Hot 10 of the regular sales, they're still down overall. We got the actual numbers in for how I've been able to track so far for Brothers War. They're still way down from what they normally would be, but there is some interesting twists and turns in how players have decided to spend their money. On the singles they've decided to buy, and the markets they're deciding to hit. It's a little bit different than what I've seen the last couple of weeks, and it's probably because players are not buying sealed product. They're not sitting their money somewhere. They're picking off individual cards or small groups of cards they really want. So let's go ahead and take a look at the video today. This is your Hot 10 from number 10 to number 1, the best-selling cards this week in Magic. Let's take a look together and put your comments in the comments section below. Are you worried that Wizards won't get slapped in the face with bad sales? And are you really hoping that they get slapped really hard to make them learn their lesson? Let's take a look. Battlethopter from the Brothers War comes in at number 10 this week with 506 sales, a market price though of only $1.59 US. Yes, people are buying these cards, but they're so inexpensive and great to build with that players are just drawn to these low-level cards that are still fun. Remember, this card has flash, it has flying, and the fact you can play your other artifacts and spells as though they had flash is a lot of fun. Remember, colorless spells. That can be an Eldrazi stuff too. Very interesting to see where this card will go in the future. I love that card. Now, number 9 is Argoth, the Sanctum of Nature, with 523 sales and a market price of $1.49. The overall sales are not horrible at 523. They're a little higher than what we've seen the last couple of weeks. But look at those market prices. These are the bottom of the barrel cards that haven't really found a home yet. Players don't know how they're going to pan out, so the price is just plummeted down. When you take a look at a card like this, it may have a little playability. It may find a home in a green deck, but this card started at $15-20 on pre-sale, and now it's 1/10 the price it used to be. Of course, players are going to buy it when it's this cheap. It costs next to nothing to buy it, and that's why they're being drawn, because they can They can afford to take the risk when it's this low of a level. Spend $8, buy 4 copies, and call it a day. Imagine how much product has to be open to get this many cards. Now, number 8. Now, this is different. It's Scute Swarm Commander Streets of New Capenna. 620 sales. Now, this card is a market price of $3.85. I remember it from Zendikar Rising, a brutal card making hundreds of thousands of copies across Arena and then just board wiping everything that person just did. This card does have some play. It can be a lot of fun in turn-taking decks or ways of protecting your tokens from not getting destroyed. I like this kind of stuff. I've actually seen this used with King Darius, I think, in a couple of decks right now I've been playing on the weekend. So it's a little interesting to see what players are building with it. And the price is really cheap, so I can see why players might be drawn to this. 620 sales, kind of came out of the blue, but it's still interesting to see. The number 7 card, Path to Exile. This has been on the list before, and this is Commander Dominaria United because it's the cheapest copy. At $2.14, Path to Exile is always a great card, but it's like $9 now for 4 copies. That's pretty crazy. Wizards has got to kind of cut these cards out for a while and let the market, let it sit for a year or two. Let the market absorb a few copies. Let things start to disappear because they can't gain any value anywhere if they're basically a dime a dozen. And how many copies do players need for decks? I think Wizards just overproducing some of these cards, and they need to side think their ideas, give us a different variation on this card to build up Commander decks a little bit more. Now, number 6 is Mishra Claimed by Gix. This was on my cards to watch video because I noticed the sales were surging up a bit. The price is just starting to trend upward again. It was having a bit of a dip and now it's kind of going up, and that's because the market's recovering at $28.37. This isn't found in every box. People are starting to realize that. 720 sales is a fairly respectable amount from what we've seen at least recently after that announcement they made. Usually the number 6 spot would have 2,000 plus sales, so it definitely is not the same market we were in 60 days ago. This is a totally different beast where players are being very picky and very choosy. They're making sure that they are buying cards they think have value for the decks they want to play with and not secondary market values of MTG Finance. And that's just something that the whole evolution of the MTG world of finance is going to have to cope with. It's going to be driven purely by player demand and only in the moment. It isn't going to be a long-lasting thing because Wizards keeps reprinting these cards, and that's what everyone is recognizing now. Quicker turnovers will be the rule of the day. Now, number 5, Urza Lord Protector, the Brothers War. Okay, this one, very interesting to see that it's had an uptick again and then a downtick. So it started surging up and it's fallen below. This card is hard to get out. I've tried this in Arena a few times myself, and every time I've gotten it out, it's been board wiped off with a simple like hero downfall style card, okay? I've never had it on the board for more than one turn. I've had it out 4 times in total. It's very hard to get this card to stay alive. I recommend only playing this in a mid-range game where you can really control the board state later on and bring this out. Maybe in a time walking style deck it might be more effective in some kind of commander workup. Now the market price is $31.47. 723 sales is decent. I expect this card to sell around $30 though. Okay, it's not going to drop too low as far as I can tell because it's still a decent card all by itself. Now, the number 4 card this week is Mishra's Bauble, and this is a schematic version. The market price is $2.74, and it's had 980 sales, pretty low for this area of the market. Sacrifice the Bauble, look at the top card player's library, but then draw a card on the next turn's upkeep. That's what people like. A zero costing cost fun card that just lets you have a good time. It's basically just a little placeholder card, and that's why people like it. 0 to get out, 0 to use, makes perfect sense, and it's cheap to buy. Now, number 3 is still in that top 5 position, the Haywire Might. Now, this card is interesting. It has 1,503 sales. The market price is basically $1, but when you look at it, you have to remember, there's so many ways of pumping up artifacts right now. It's quick to get out for 1, but then when it dies, you're going to gain 2 life. That's kind of a nice dual effect, but then it also can be sacrificed by paying a green and exiling a target non-creature artifact or non-creature enchantment. I've used this when people try to take away my, my bigger creatures. I use this to sack right away and get my creature back on the board. I like having cards like that because they can get rid of those, leyline bindings and stuff that are holding you up. Great card to have around. It's super cheap. Now, the number 2 card is obviously out of position for some reason. and I don't know why. So I got to fix it for you guys because that's the way it's going to be. There we go. There we go. And that is the Mightstone Weekstone. 1,627 sales this week from November 18th to 22nd. The market price, though, is still $3.38. This thing's bottom of the barrel. It's bottomed out. It's not a great card. You got to have it for the Lord Protector. I've used it in the deck. I've tried to make it work. Most times I've got to use the -5/-5 to kill something off because it takes so long to get this kind of deck going that you got to use it very defensively. You want to draw the cards, but you're not getting the opportunity. I would recommend using, if you're trying to build something with it, use it with Teferi, who slows the sunset. Try to get things to untap it right away. There are ways of using it not too badly. You just got to build a little combo deck around it. So have hope, have faith. Cards like this can be fun to play still, but it's not going to be your saving grace. Let's go ahead and check out number 1. And that again is out of place. What is going on in the world of Moxman on a Saturday, Sunday morning? What do you guys think I was doing? You think I was like right behind the camera looking at you? But don't worry, I'm still here. And that is the Phyrexian Dragon Engine from Brothers War. 2,104 sales, 18th to the 25th. Now, when you take a look at this card, it has more uses than what people recognize. Okay, you don't have to use it just for Mishra. And that's what people realize now. The market price is $3.72. But this thing is a 3 casting cost, double strike creature. And it has Unearth. And there are so many ways of pumping up artifacts right now. There's so many ways of making this work with Urza or with Mishra that you really can't ignore what could come down the line when you're playing in a commander game or in a standard or any other format that needs a kind of creature like this. The double strike is very nice. I've used it in multiple decks now without even having Mishra in the deck at all, because I like the fact it has double strike. I like the fact it comes back from the dead and gives you that last chance to nail somebody when they least expect it. And that is a good card to have around. And it's super cheap. Less than $4, great price. So as you guys can see, the market's topsy-turvy right now. This is not the hot 10 we used to have even 60 days ago. These sales are so much lower. The market is so much tighter. With everything going on in the world, it's just led us down this path to where we are now. Players, you're smarter than you've ever been. You're spending your money more wisely. You're in a tighter market, and you're making Wizards pay for it. You're making them earn every dollar they get from you, and that's what they should do. Make them expand and learn how to be better at their R&D, make them better at card quality, make them better priced products, and we're going to have a better day for everyone. So thanks a lot for being here today. Thanks for hanging out with MTG Moxman. Looking forward to reading your comments in the comments section. And of course, I messed up the page. It's a Saturday. I can't help myself. Where's my coffee? It's right here. I'm going to finish this off, and I'll see you guys all later. Hey guys, a big shout out to all the fantastic patrons on the channel. You too can be a patron. Look me up on Patreon. You can support my channel as well. And thanks again to everyone who does it. I know, we're here at the end of the video, aren't we? And you guys hung around. I didn't want you to think I forgot about you. How about some Guild Pack? How about Guild Pack goes up there? Because you never know when we're going to get to 20K. And if you guys are watching the end of my videos, this stuff happens. You got to pay attention. It could be important. Things happen at 20K. Let's be honest. Things happen at 20K. Some stuff might happen at 15K too.